Finance Committee meeting. Ms. Bell, would you take roll for everyone?
Mrs. Robles,
Present.
Mr. Uxer,
Here.
Ms. Nájera,
Here.
Dr. Graham.
Here.
Ms. Sanchez will be here shortly, and Mr. Haggerty won't be here.
Thank you. So our Facilities and Finance Committee meeting of the Board of Trustees of El Paso Community College is being held today, and we were going to start at 4 o'clock. We're pretty close to that. And it is a meeting that's being held in the Administrative Services Boardroom, number 200, El Paso, Texas. The audio-video feed can be found at youtube.com/EPCC. All backup and related materials for the meeting can be accessed at the following link, http://epcc.edu, Administration Board of Trustees. Welcome, and we're glad you're here. Do we have any public comment?
No, ma'am.
How about the Pledge of Allegiance?
I'm sorry?
How about the Pledge of Allegiance?
It's not for facility.
For facilities? We can have the Pledge of Allegiance for facilities if you'd like. Thank you. Hi, Dr. Hiron. Can you lead us in the pledge? Thank you. So we have no public comment. And let the record show that Ms. Sanchez is arrived. Welcome. So Mr. Pablo Perez will provide us an update briefing on the progress of the Combined Fee Revenue Improvement Bond Series 2016 program. Briefing items will include, but are not limited to, a general update including schedule and budget for all 6 projects. And I hope you have good news, as well as an overall bond schedule and budget update.
Well, good afternoon, Dr. Serrata, board members, Dr. Graham. We'll start with Rio Grande, and just some pictures of the southwest corner. You can see the south lobby entry. You can see that they do have the landscaping now. There's 6th floor east lobby and the 6th floor study rooms on the right. We have a study area in the 6th floor, the main study area. And then you have a typical classroom on the 7th floor. This particular one is pretty nice it's basically a corner classroom, a great view. This is the west stair on the left and connects the 6th to the 7th floor, but it goes all the way down from the very ground floor all the way up to the 7th floor and the roof. On the right, you have the 7th floor, the multi-bed sim lab. You can tell all the equipment that's come in. So this is the slide that I show you at the last board meeting, and only a couple things changed. I do have bad news. That's not the substantial completion date that we anticipated here. The good news is that it really doesn't affect us to get started in the spring. So basically what we lacked is the state inspector for the elevators. We weren't able to get him on site yet, and the Arrow has been trying to get him to travel to El Paso for state inspection. Once that is obtained, then the city can come in and give us a certificate of occupancy. So for all practical purposes, we are estimating, and again, this is an estimate based on their performance, that we can get a substantial completion around 11/29. Everything else, the critical items, which is the IT, it's on track, and basically the decision was made between EPCC administration and ECM. We've discussed the fact that we do need to get IT in there. So if there's anything that and this applies also on the dates for Valle Verde. If there's anything that's not in place by the contractor, we'll put a lock on the door and so IT can go and get started, and then we'll just back charge the contractor for whatever, if there's any work that they still needed to complete. Because once those doors are locked, we can't allow anybody else back into those rooms for security reasons. But it's on track, and so far it looks like there's a pretty good chance that everything will be in place. There's a lot of pressure on the IT folks, but it looks like we may be able to be open for the spring semester at Rio Grande. So those were the dates that have changed with the red box. So at Valle Verde, it's actually, this slide, I didn't change it at all because it still holds. And the only thing that came up this morning at the regular or weekly meeting with the contractor was that really, if we're looking at the AV to start 1.3 and then finish at 1.10, it just doesn't allow enough time for the EPCC AV folks to do the work. So what we talked to the contractor is to bring the AV subcontractor and have them do everything they have to do except obviously IT stuff in December. That way we'll be plenty comfortable in January. And really, once we have IT, it shouldn't take but a couple of days for EPCC IT to get, the EPCC AV, forgive me, to get that done. So right now, at the track they're going, it looks doable. And actually, I believe that the staff is going to be on site on January 10th for training, and it looks good in terms of having even the AV, particularly if we can get that other contractor. One thing I failed to mention, the AV contractor is actually from out of town. They're from Arizona. So we need to make sure we plan on a trip for them to come here. But we should be able to have the training for the staff on the 10th. And so that's the other date. I think it's pretty relevant as well.
Did the contractor agree?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, we talked to them this morning, and they said they were going to call them and see if they could get them. And they look pretty positive. They sounded pretty positive in terms of getting them here in December, not before Thanksgiving, but probably during December. And I believe that's about it. Now, any questions on the two projects before we move on to the budget? Okay.
Any questions? No?
Okay. So on the overall bond budget, there's been one major change, and that is to the total amount for Valle Verde. So what we had is there's a request from faculty to increase the amount of computers. Basically, on a lot of the rooms, IT rooms on the third floor have one computer, and they really need two. So what we had to do is develop some drawings with the assistance of the engineer of record to increase the electrical connection, the additional electrical connections, additional drops, and also having to order more computers. And the cost to do that is $362,524. And this is to be done by in-house, by EPCC physical plant. And the reason that's happening is mostly because we need to move pretty fast, and the contractor doesn't really have a record of moving really fast, but also because at this point, the contractor would come and charge us general conditions, so this number could be considerably higher if the contractor did it. So I believe it was a wise decision by administration to have physical plant perform this work. And so with that being said, what we did, and this here, let me see where the laser, oh, you probably, okay, let me see. I don't know, you all have to turn around, but basically the chart on the left is what you used to see at every meeting. The one on the right is a little more detailed. And one thing you can see is Under wayfinding, on the left, it just has one line item, wayfinding, but really wayfinding is broken down into construction, geotech, contingency, and other miscellaneous. That other miscellaneous amount was being set aside for additional signage for the campuses. And so with the blessing of Ms. Chauncey and Mr. Lovato, what we did is we increased, obviously we had to increase the Valle Verde budget by the 362,000. So what we did, we took out the 362,524 from the other miscellaneous in wayfinding, and we added 362,524 to Valle Verde Academic. So now the new numbers are the ones being circled on the left, and that will allow us to proceed with the Valle Verde work. So that concludes my presentation. Any questions?
Are there any questions?
Okay. All right. Thank you. Y'all have a great day. I appreciate your attention.
Thank you, sir.
Do you want to adjourn?
I don't think we need an executive session on this one. Okay, so that adjourns our Facilities and Finance Committee meeting.